Welcome to Own Your Value Spiritual Health Video 1. This video is sort of the basis of my spiritual practice that I'm going to be sharing with you. And what I'm going to be including in these 5 videos about spiritual health are practices that have supported me over the years that I find very powerful, that a lot of my clients have used to transform their life. And I want to preface all of this by saying spiritual health is very specific to you. And we all have a different spiritual path and spiritual journey. And I grew up going to church and having very much one view of spirituality. And then, as I grew in my evolution, I kind of opened up to different sorts of spirituality. And in many ways, I find that there are many common themes. They all kind of connect. There are definitely different paths that are very specific for certain people. And I believe that to be true. And I want to acknowledge whatever spiritual path you're on. I want to support you in continuing that path. I'm not here to tell you, this is how you need to have a spiritual path. I really believe spirituality is about believing in a higher power. It's about trusting that higher power and surrendering all control so that you can be divinely supported. And this is at the core what spirituality means to me. And I also believe it has to do a lot with our core beliefs about what kind of universe we live in. Do we have a benevolent God that loves us, that wants to care for us, or do we have a God that is constantly telling us all the things that we're doing wrong? And being aware of these core spiritual beliefs is really going to help you understand why you make different choices and how you show up in the world. And it's not that one is right and wrong, it's just bringing awareness to it and knowing that you are a spiritual being, you have a soul, and this soul wants to feel connected. It wants to feel connected with the planet. It wants to feel connected with the universe. It wants to feel connected with spirit. And this is just an innate part of the human journey, in my perspective. And so there's many ways that you can have a spiritual practice. And on a very physical level, the very basic way that you can have a spiritual practice is a practice that allows your nervous system to fall into a more supported state. So you just innately feel more supported. You feel more like you're able to surrender, like you're able to let go, like you're able to trust in things working out. You're able to trust in a higher power. And that on a very basic level can be so transformational. And it doesn't even need to be connected with any sort of ideology or any sort of specific spiritual text, but just allowing your nervous system to stop having to be like the God in your life and having to have all the answers, because we are actually connected to a network of infinite intelligence, and we don't have to know all the answers. We can just literally lean back and allow this network of infinite intelligence to support us. The all-knowing, the omnipresent, the everlasting is available like that. And so that is really the connection that I hope all of you can find, whatever your spiritual path is. And I trust that you are all on your own unique journey for a reason. I'd love to hear more about your unique journey in the group. Please share. I'm always wanting to know more and have deeper discussions about these topics. And I really respect all of you so much. If you're not part of Own Your Value, the program, and you want to be, go to kateinparadise.com/value to find out more, because that's where we have daily accountability and we connect with each other and support each other in a group and in a community. So what I want to talk about today really quickly is the practice of silent meditation. So if you think about praying as you're asking God or the universe for things or for support, meditating, you can think of it as listening to the answer. So if we're always talking, if we're having this one-way conversation where we're always talking, but we're never listening, it's not really like a relationship. It's sort of just like a one-sided experience. And so I want to introduce the practice of silent meditation as a way to listen to your higher self, a way to listen to the Holy Spirit, a way to listen to the universe speaking to you, a way for you to also calm the nervous system and give yourself space. We are so busy, we are so inundated with information, and we are just like going. And so this time for you to just pause and calm down and be still. So a silent meditation could be seated. The important part is that you are able to relax and your spine is straight. So if it's really hard for you to sit cross-legged, I actually don't encourage you to push yourself to do that. If you want to get better at seated meditation, I would invite you to do like very short seated meditations and use like cushions or blankets or meditation pillow to really prop up your hips, because you want the front of your hips, like if you think of like the very front of your hip bones, you want them to be facing forward. You don't want to be with your spine rounded and your tailbone tucked. If you were an animal and you had a tail, you want your tail to be behind the meditation pillow. You don't want it to be tucked under you. So you can think of that. If you're not able to find your sitting bones when you're sitting cross-legged and really sit really straight up, then maybe you're not ready for that yet. And you can do stretches to open up your hips and get there. But if you need to do it lying down, or if you need to do it just seated in a chair with your feet on the ground or with your back against the wall, that can be a great place to start. And if you, like I said, if you want to do the cross-legged, just doing very short ones can be very powerful to just help open up your hips and really elevate your hips so that you can get the idea is that when you cross your legs, you want your knees lower than your hips. So lift yourself up until the knees are lower, and that's going to help open up your hips. When I started doing a seated meditation practice, that was something that really helped me open my hips. So in the silent meditation, it's literally just silent meditation. You can listen to like some like ambient music or spiritual music if that feels good for you, or it can just be complete silence. And what I do is I just put a timer. So I started this practice with a 3-minute timer. Literally, I would just fit for 3 minutes. Can I not move? Can I hold still? Can I just be with myself in stillness with my eyes closed for 3 minutes? And I did that for almost a year. Sometimes I would meditate for longer than 3 minutes, but I was kind of committed to like the 3-minute mark. Now my meditations vary from 10 minutes to an hour. It depends on where I'm at. And I always start seated, but if it gets so uncomfortable to be seated that I can't even relax, like I will allow myself to just lie down on my back, which is another thing. You can do like a Shavasana meditation as well. And it's okay if you fall asleep. Don't judge yourself if you fall asleep. It usually means that you're sleep deprived and you need more sleep anyway. If you're sitting there in your meditation and you're nodding off, sometimes I just allow myself to lay down, do a Shavasana, and you have the timer, so it's gonna wake you up. So set a timer for something that you feel like you could do. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. Let it be short and easy and simple, and allow yourself to just feel the satisfaction of like, I had this reset. You can think of it as like when we power down our devices and we kind of like reset them. Like allow it to be just like a little power down time. Like all of your tabs are gonna come up and you can kind of swipe them to the right. Like don't judge the tabs that come up, like all the thoughts, everything's gonna come up, and that's acknowledge it, swipe it. I don't need this. I'm gonna close these tabs. I'm gonna close these tabs. I'm gonna close these tabs until your timer goes off. There probably is never gonna be a time where you have no tabs coming up. Definitely, like in my meditation practice, I've gotten to places where I feel peaceful in the stillness. I don't have a lot of thoughts happening. I have more ethereal experiences happening. I feel more connected to energy. Magical things are happening, but oftentimes it takes a lot of time. A great resource if you want to get inspired around the benefits of like a still silent meditation and extending it for longer and longer periods of time is Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. This book really inspired me and motivated me to be more committed to my meditation practice. It gave me a million reasons for physiologically and mentally, and just like, if you want to change your life, meditation is a powerful tool. If you want to create a new life, if you want to create new patterns, meditation is a huge tool, and that book will really support you in that. So my challenge for you, if you're wanting to do a silent meditation practice as one of your new habits, is to set your timer for a very short amount of time and just see if you can be still with yourself and be with whatever's coming up. There's no judgment. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to change it. You don't need to be relaxed. You can feel anxiety. You can feel fear. Whatever emotion or thought is coming up, it's meant to be there. That is why you are doing this practice, so that it has space to come up, because it didn't have space to come up because you were so busy. So I invite you to allow all the things to come up and just be okay with it, and just stick with the process, stick with the habit. We have 2 months of accountability in this round of Own Your Value. So I'm really excited to hold you accountable to your meditation practice if that's the habit that you're choosing to implement. And I'm excited to see you inside the group. This is Kate in Paradise, and I see you shining.